Good afternoon. Please stand for the presentation of the colors by the UNLV Air Force and Army ROTC Honor Guards, followed by the national anthem.
Honor Guard, forward, march, left, left, left. Left, left, left. March time, march. Color guard, out. Left, face. Present, colors.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, give proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Order, colors. Present, arc. Order, arms. Right, face. Forward, march.
Thank you to our vocalist, Christina Williams. Please be seated. My name is Janice McKay. I am this year's chair of the UNLV Faculty Senate. We are here today for President Meana's State of the University address, and we are delighted to have many distinguished guests joining us in the audience. From the Nevada System of Higher Education, representing our Board of Regents are Regent Amy Carvalho, Regent Sam Lieberman, Regent Kathy McAdoo, and Regent Laurel Perkins. Also in attendance are Chancellor Tom Riley and the Chancellor's Chief of Staff, Michael Flores. We would also like to welcome distinguished guests. Clark County Commissioner Tick Sagerblum, Vice Chairman of the Foundation Executive Board Diana Bennett, President of the Alumni Engagement Board of Directors Mark Wiley, Vice President of the Alumni Engagement Board of Directors Gina Bonjovi, President and CEO of the Las Vegas Metro Chamber of Commerce Mary Beth Seawald, and UNLV alumna and philanthropist Beverly Rogers. Thank you all for joining us. UNLV faculty and administration remain focused on our mission to offer high-quality education. The needs of the students and the citizens of our state are best served by a continued strong investment in research as the foundation of that education. Through research, students develop critical thinking expertise as well as analytical and communication skills. As Benjamin Franklin said, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Researchers find the root cause of problems and lead us to positive change. Only through research can new inventions and discoveries come to life. Research helps us to know the truth by exposing that which is false. Through research, we begin to know and understand our history and hopefully learn from it. Creative artists help us to find the beauty, meaning, and significance of life, and so enhance its quality. It is our hope that the Nevada state government and all of our generous donors will support and respect our commitment to research excellence as the cornerstone of UNLV, both for the benefit of our students and the people of the entire state. Our leader in this mission is a highly esteemed colleague from our faculty, President Marta Meana. She was born in Spain, raised there and in Canada, and she earned her PhD at one of the most prestigious schools in North America, McGill University. A professor of psychology at UNLV since 1997, President Meana was named Dean of the UNLV Honors College in 2012, where she tripled its enrollment. Previously, she served as senior advisor to the university president. President Meana has earned multiple university, state, and national awards during her career, including a Nevada Regents Excellence in Teaching Award, a Nevada Senatorial Recognition for Teaching, UNLV Distinguished Teaching and Graduate Academic Advisor Awards, the James McCawa Award for Outstanding Contributions in Psychology, and the Masters and Johnson Lifetime Achievement Award. She has published 2 books and close to 80 peer-reviewed journal articles and book chapters. It has been my privilege to work closely with Dr. Meana this past year, and I stand amazed at her accomplishments. In that time, she has done much to reunite this campus and refocus us on what is most important, the success of our students. UNLV is very fortunate that President Meana is willing to take on the enormous task of keeping us moving forward in a positive direction. She is a savvy strategic thinker, a skilled negotiator, an avid champion for UNLV, and she has a broad vision for what our university and our state can become. Please join me in thanking and welcoming the interim president of UNLV, Dr. Marta Meana.
Good afternoon y buenas tardes. Welcome to the State of the University Address. I thank you for being here and for your continued engagement to keep making UNLV a great university and a pillar of our community and state. The world around us has been changing at a rapid pace. Institutions that have existed for centuries are in a moment of significant disruption, and universities are no exception. Now, disruption involves both opportunity and risk. the opportunity to expand, refine, and improve our purpose, and the risk of losing the heart and soul at the origins of why we came to be. For the longest time, universities were gatekeepers. Those of you old enough to remember the movie Paper Chase will recall when the law professor proudly tells his students at their first class that half of them or more will never make it. I was at a school like that, and you know, it was kind of seductive. You wanted to be one of the super smart students who triumphed and was let into the club. The problem with that approach was that it was based on the illusion of a meritocracy blind to the impediments of adversity, gender, race, culture, and socioeconomic status. Those who did not make it just did not have the right stuff. But now think, how many of those students on whom the gate was shut could have changed the world? In the moving words of Stephen Jay Gould, I am somehow less interested in the weight and convolutions of Einstein's brain than in the near certainty that people of equal talent have lived and died in cotton fields and sweatshops. So, we have the opportunity to change that legacy, to make this university the gate opener rather than the gatekeeper, to devote ourselves to the success of every student. This is one of the great opportunities of this moment of disruption. We are now not in the business of keeping people out, but in the business of going out of our way to facilitate the success of every student. But there's a legacy of universities that we don't want to change. Universities have always stood for something we need to hold on to for dear life, and that is the steady adherence to free speech, academic freedom, and the principle of open dialogue and civility. The first institutions that are targeted by fascist movements and governments across the world and across history have been the press and universities. And that is because openness is a threat to those who would want to shrink our world. And there are definitely those who want to shrink our world, although remember, we massively outnumber them. As you know, we just experienced a threat to our campus, to African Americans, and to supporters of Bernie Sanders, all supposedly timed for today. Although there was no concrete indication that this was a credible threat, we investigated it together with the FBI. We decided to show an abundance of caution and let the campus know so they could make a personal choice about whether to be here today or not. Now, it's definitely disheartening and distressing to receive those threats or to have symbols of hate occasionally etched in our walls. But you need to remember that UNLV comprises thousands of people who stand for the opposite of that vitriol. We cannot let the haters define us or control us. We are a university, and at the heart of what we do is a moral imperative. I know moral is a heavy word, but I really believe that is the realm we exist and move in. To provide the opportunity for every single student to succeed and change their circumstances, and to continue to be the standard bearers for the free exchange of ideas in the service of knowledge, discovery, innovation, openness, and civility. In our increasingly polarized society in which individuals would rather argue than listen, would rather dismiss than consider another view, this role for our university is as important as it has ever been. We need to set the example. More than ever, higher education institutions need to succeed as centers for intercultural dialogue. We may archive and analyze the past, but our mission is the future of our students, of community, and society. So it is indeed a moral imperative, but also an incredible privilege to be the nexus of hope and progress. We move students to their careers. We move knowledge towards solutions. We help our community address dilemmas. Not everyone gets to have a job that improves people's lives. It's a great responsibility, but also such a joy to be part of something so central to our democracy and to our forward trajectory. We are so fortunate for our hard work to be centered on something so incredibly life-affirming. So the state of this university is quite simply this. UNLV is making it happen. We are embracing the disruption of being gate openers, but we are honoring our legacy by remaining stalwart defenders of freedom of thought and expression and the intrinsic value of people of different identities, colors, and cultures coming together to share their intellect, experiences, and humanity. This fall, UNLV exceeded 31,000 students for the first time in its history. The university received a record number of applications for the first-year class at almost 13,000, and we had a record freshman class of more than 4,400 students. Now, we may take such a milestone for granted because we've continued to have steady growth for nearly a decade, while actually nationally, many institutions are experiencing declining enrollment. But lost in the sheer volume of numbers is the impact we can have. Each of those 31,000 students has their own story on why they chose UNLV and how they got here. And for most, if not all, it means everything to them, and it means so much to their families. I thought I would share a couple of letters from parents who wrote these letters this fall and left them for the first time UNLV freshman daughters and sons once they have moved into the dorms. If these stories don't inspire us to double down on this commitment, I don't know what will. These parents all recognize the opportunity in front of their kids and revel in their potential. So here's one. From my heart, telling you how much I love you and how proud of what you are accomplishing. I never went to college, but I'm pumped to know you are the first to attend a university. Don't be stressed about school. We are here for you. Always know we have your back and the world is yours. Can't wait to see your journey. Love you, Dad. Here's another. I'm so proud of the person you already are, so I'm especially excited to see what talents you discover and cultivate at college. It's poignant for me that you'll be walking along the same trees and buildings that your dad and I did. Your future is bright. Love you so much, Mom. And a final letter. Even though I'm not your biological father, the minute I saw you, your drive, your love, and your compassion for others, I knew that's what makes you special. I am so proud of you, and I look forward to watching you grow into the most successful person that you can ever be. It's time for you to take over the world, change the world for the better. I am here for you whenever you need me. Love you very much, Dad. The heartfelt words in those letters reflect the magnitude of what it means to our students and their families to be at this university. And it reinforces the importance of what we do. As the largest university in the state, our success will shape the future of the region, but more importantly, of individual lives. Now, happily, I have great news to report on how we're doing in that regard. Over the past year, we have achieved record highs in retention and graduation rates. Our first-year retention rate of 79.4% is nearly 3.5 percentage points higher than last year. And our sixth-year graduation rate hit a record high of 44.8%, up nearly 2 percentage points from our record high last year. Our students have also had individual and team success. The accounting students within the Lee Business School won the national competition sponsored by the Institute of Management Accountants for the third consecutive year, and the American Marketing Association student chapter broke through to win the International Case Competition in Marketing Simulation after finishing runner-up for 2 consecutive years. UNLV was also just one of 11 universities worldwide chosen to compete in the 2020 U.S. Department of Energy Solar Decathlon based on a design from an interdisciplinary team of students from architecture, engineering, business, urban affairs, and communications. And for the first time in 20 years, 2 UNLV students in a single cycle were granted the Barry Goldwater Scholarship, the nation's premier undergraduate award in STEM disciplines. Our student athletes are also excelling beyond anything that we've actually ever seen at UNLV, achieving a record-setting grade point average of 3.09 in academic year 18-19, with 12 teams actually setting academic records. 1/3 of our student athletes are on Dean's List, and that is truly amazing. And last week, UNLV and Switch announced they have entered into a multi-year technology initiative focused on sports science, data analytics, and student athlete success. Oh, and did I mention that the cannon is currently red? I don't know, not sure, I wasn't sure. Now, an important part of the equation for student success is for neither students themselves nor for us to prejudge or make early decisions on who will make it and who will not. Many students arrive at UNLV unsure of themselves or with their own preconceptions about what they're good at and what they're not good at. They may not know what they want, or they may just be afraid to fail. Treat every one of them as if they can hit it out of the park, and you'll be amazed who comes through, and I know a lot of you already know that. A colleague of mine shared a letter of a student who had a rough start at UNLV, but found her way eventually, mainly because a faculty member repeatedly refused to let her slip away. The student who graduated a year ago is now living in the Midwest, helping others through her work in a social service agency. And here's an excerpt from the letter. This was received this summer. "A year ago, you took a chance on me, and I wanted you to know how much I appreciate you. Even though it seemed as if my life was falling apart, you were always encouraging me to do better. You were there to listen, and that meant the world to me. You were the main reason I was able to graduate, and I wanted to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I am actually using what I learned in class to help me with my career. I'm changing lives, and it's an amazing feeling to give back to the community and to use what I've learned in college to inspire others. I'm extremely grateful to you. You are an amazing faculty member." Now, I know that many of you have received similar notes that remind you that that supposedly little thing that you did to go out of your way one day actually changed a student's life. Notes from students who would have fallen off the grid if you had not reached out and reeled them back in. These are real-life rescues. Here's how students, in their own words, define success.
Okay, we're here. I'm Dr. UNLV. We're here on the street, on campus, to get the real live feedback from our undergraduate students about their definition of student success.
For me personally, it would be to experience as much as I can so that when I'm on stage on graduation and I have the certificate, it's not just a piece of paper for me. It's this collection of all these memories that I've had at UNLV and my successes when I went over challenges.
Am I getting the skills that I'm going to need to kind of fulfill my own goals, which for me is I want to make this world a better place, I want to fight human trafficking, so am I learning whatever skills, legal or otherwise, are going to help me accomplish those goals?
Know your path, know your future, know what you want to do.
Being able to take everything you learn in the classroom, everything you learn outside the classroom and on campus and apply it in everyday life.
I'm here because I need to make more money. After school, that's the success of a student, right? We go to school to get a job.
If I'm successful and I think I'm successful, I'm going to know that I've used the resources to my best ability, and I kind of know where I want to go, and understand that maybe at one point I was lost, but I definitely had people to rely on to kind of understand where I want to be.
I would say that student success has to do primarily with, I guess, maturity and just knowing that you're developing into a different person, getting life skills that you otherwise wouldn't have gotten if you didn't go to graduate school, and also learning. Those are the two things that I think are primary for student success.
Just putting in the work and the time, experience new things. That really helps out figuring out what you want to do and then succeeding in that. Yeah, it's more about what you make of it, not about what the university can offer you.
I like to think that my undergrad was more about just what to think, right? Learning what we need to just to get into the workforce. And now that we're in this grad program, it's more about how to think.
My parents came from a different country. They wanted to see me succeed, and since I was little, they've always told me that they want me to become something more than what they have. And just knowing that if I were to graduate, if I were to accomplish what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna become the first woman in my family to graduate from college, and that's something that's so motivating for me because I want to make my family proud, and I want them to know that they're not they didn't waste their time coming over here. So that's something super motivating for me.
So on that topic, just this year, we've added 10 more academic advisors and a host of peer mentors to help support students. We're also providing every department with their specific retention and graduation rates. Now, when you drill down to individual units, those rates are no longer statistics, but a list of actual student names, real people struggling to reach their goals. Our goal is to achieve progress in each of these units and further close the achievement gap. We're also developing new programs that provide opportunities for prospective students to complement existing programs. This fall, we introduced the Tuition Plus program that will provide eligible Nevada residents a grant for 12 undergraduate credit hours of tuition and fees each semester, plus $1,000 for books for the school year. And this year is the 10-year anniversary of the Engelstadt Scholars Program. This gift is still the largest active scholarship in the university's history and the largest active scholarship endowment in the history of the Nevada system of higher education. The scholarships are for those students in need and require each recipient to volunteer 100 hours of community service annually. We are so very, very grateful for this unbelievably generous support. Now, these types of community support programs are essential because higher education institutions, we're operating in a changing landscape in which we're going to have to rely less on state support. It is incumbent upon us to identify new sources of revenue and think with more of an entrepreneurial mindset. Now, considering we live in the most entrepreneurial city in the world, I think we should be able to pull that off. A recent example of this is the MGM College Opportunity Program. This NSHE initiative is a partnership with MGM Resorts International, and it allows their employees to take online classes at UNLV or other institutions in the state. It's the first time a Fortune 500 company has partnered in this manner with a system of higher education, with nearly 270 students enrolled in the program this fall. UNLV has worked closely with MGM to develop a cost-effective business model for the program, and the company will pay the employees' tuition as part of their professional development. In addition to student access and success, the other important part of our moral imperative is to continue expanding the research, creative, and scholarly activity that serves this community and the world. A quick look at the past year shows that we are more than fulfilling that responsibility despite the challenges we face. There was no greater example of that than last December when UNLV received the Carnegie R1, or Very High Research Activity designation. As you know, this is the gold standard among research universities and a milestone that only 3% of all universities in the country achieve. Now, some people will say, oh, we achieved that milestone because they expanded the list from 120 to 130 schools. Others may point out that many first-time institutions who make the list aren't able to maintain their standing since the competition is so fierce among universities across the country. But you know what I say? I say it doesn't matter. The fact that in only 60 years, UNLV is even in the ballpark of that list is an amazing accomplishment that is a testament to the collective effort of past and current faculty, staff, and students. It has taken most universities over a century to get there. I asked our decision support folks to analyze how many universities on that list of 130 were our age or younger, and the answer was only 9. Only 9 other universities out of 130 were our age or younger. So we will keep working our dedication to excellence in everything we do. We have to re-earn that R1 designation every day, and we are doing just that. There are so many individual examples of how our faculty and staff are making it happen. Geoscientist Libby Hasroth is one of 10 scientists selected by NASA to determine the soils that will be brought back from the Mars 2020 mission. The samples will be the first return to Earth from Mars and may transform our understanding of the planet. Physicist Ashkan Salamat just earned the Department of Energy's Early Career Award, one of only 46 granted this year for his research focusing on metal superhydrides. UNLV's Cybersecurity Center has been designated as a National Center of Academic Excellence in Cyber Defense Education by both the National Security Agency and the Department of Homeland Security. It is one of the many ways UNLV is creating degree programs to fuel workforce demand and development. Professor Nancy Lowe is doing extensive research in women's sports on the issue of equity and representation, marketing, and pay. She most recently analyzed the U.S. national women's soccer team and the equality issues surrounding the World Cup. You all know our wonderful International Gaming Institute is a leader in the emergent esports industry and showcases student achievement, academic programs, and innovation. The UNLV program already has a footprint in the Konami Gaming Lab, but it will have a home in the new Blackfire Innovation Space at the Harry Reid Research and Technology Park, where our innovation building will be opening shortly, and you have to see this building. It is absolutely fantastic. Now, this Blackfire Innovation is a public-private partnership with Caesars Entertainment, and it constitutes an incubator and innovation laboratory for hospitality and gaming. There really is nothing like it in the world, and it is attracting some very, very heavy hitters from the tech industry. And congratulations to Professor Renita Ray, who won the 2018 C. Wright Mills Award for her work, The Making of a Teenage Service Class, Poverty and Mobility in an American City. The interdisciplinary honor from the Society for the Study of Social Programs is one of the highest awards in the social sciences. Now, very importantly, one of the greatest impacts that a university and its faculty and its programs can have is when it directly touches the lives of our community. UNLV has numerous examples to brag about, starting with Dr. Noelle LaForge, Assistant Director at The Practice, a UNLV community mental health training clinic. Noelle, who, by the way, I met when she was an undergrad in one of my psychology classes, which makes me feel incredibly old. Noelle helped establish and expand 2 partnerships with local community nonprofits that provided telemental health services for Nevada youth and a group psychotherapy program for Spanish-speaking patients with chronic illnesses. These services extended to parts of rural Nevada and provided vital training to graduate students. We're also super excited at the School of Integrated Health Sciences. We've established a Department of Brain Health headed by Professor Jeff Kinney, who is partnering with world-renowned neurologist Dr. Jeffrey Cummings. Dr. Cummings joins UNLV from the Lou Ruvo Center for Brain Health, and he will focus on his specialty of Alzheimer's disease research. Another major workforce development need in our community, which I'm sure you've heard about, and in the state, is for nurses. And UNLV has truly embraced that challenge. The School of Nursing expanded its upper division undergraduate program this fall, and a total of 216 students will be accepted annually over 3 cohorts. This expansion represents a 50% increase since the fall of 2017. And we also have to give them a shout out because the National League of Nursing designated our School of Nursing as one of only 10 centers of excellence in nursing education. Our medical school, yes. Absolutely. Now, talking about feeling old and time passing by fast, our medical school is already reviewing applications for its 4th class. And our dental school continues to serve this community with more than 70,000 patient visits this year. And we now have an accredited school of public health. All of this together is going to revolutionize healthcare in this community. And UNLV is also positioning itself as a thought leader and community hub by hosting high-impact programs and events that are unique and engaging. The Boyd School of Law launched the Law and Leadership Program this semester with the Honorable Brian Sandoval, the 29th Governor of the state of Nevada. The program brings together political leaders and scholars to discuss leadership theory and applications. It hosted an amazing inaugural symposium last month that engaged the community and was so rich in history. It featured panels of former Nevada and Western governors, sitting and former judges, as well as sitting and former US senators. And in the same month, because Dan Hamilton's a beast, the law school hosted former FBI Director James Comey and held a symposium on Islam in America, and wow, what an incredible September that was. The Urban Adventure is an interdisciplinary program with the Greenspun College of Urban Affairs that engages students in communication studies, criminal justice, journalism and media studies, public policy and leadership, and social work. It puts students right in the middle of the action to solve a metropolitan crime and address a wide range of social issues common in urban environments. The program draws upon experts from community organizations such as social service providers, law enforcement agencies, and media professionals. And in a display of creativity and ingenuity, Professor Alan Gibbs established the Science Cafe, which is geared toward bringing fascinating science discussions to the public of Southern Nevada. And I think the very best part of this idea may be the once-a-month discussion at McMullen's Irish Pub. I understand it gets very, very lively. The College of Fine Arts' 3rd annual Art Walk was held last Friday on the UNLV campus, and approximately 2,000 people attended. The event featured dance performances, film, an interactive LED forest, musical performances, art exhibitions, a Nevada Conservatory theater production, a guest lecture series, and a School of Architecture make-a-thon, where participants gathered to create various platform designs. And then, of course, there's the jewel of literary imagination and creativity, the Beverly Rogers, Carol C. Harder, Black Mountain Institute, which continues to bring internationally acclaimed writers to the university and hosts unbelievable events, although it's called the Believer Festival. And alumna and namesake Beverly Rogers just established a $5 million endowment to bolster the rare books collection and fund a curator position at UNLV libraries. Beverly will also donate her personal book collection to the library's special collections and archives. What a rich, personal, and moving gift from one of our most generous and inspiring supporters. Now, these are just a few examples of our many accomplishments that would keep you here for hours if I covered everything, and you will receive on your way out a handout that covers a lot more than I did and is a lot more comprehensive. Now, it's very important to stop, though, and say that much of what we do would not be possible without the generous support of the state, the county, our community donors, and our cherished alumni. We are grateful that the legislature allocated $20 million for the construction of a new engineering building, which will break ground this coming spring. We're also grateful for Clark County, who conveyed a parcel of land to us for our future medical education building. Our first ever Rebels Give Day last fall generated nearly $1 million from faculty, staff, students, and alums, and the community at large. And all of our donors together contributed an amazing total of $74.3 million over just the past year to support our programs and students. Thank you so much. The time and treasure contributed by our alumni, UNLV, by our UNLV Foundation Board of Trustees, who spend so much time helping us here, and our community partners is really, all of it is breathtaking to me, and I am forever grateful for their commitment to our success, because together I really do believe that we can accomplish anything.
A diet is tailored to your DNA, battling health risks hardwired into your body. Muscles are created in a lab, potentially helping millions with disabilities. Microbes are harvested from Nevada hot springs, revealing secrets about possible life on other planets. Rebels make it happen. Every day, UNLV does work that makes life better. Here at home and around the world. A bus takes 2,000 children to a museum for the very first time every year. A first-generation student blazes trails in robotics, opening new doors for women in engineering. And a brand new industry goes pro. From faculty to staff to students and alumni, we are thinkers who are also doers. Rebels make it happen. UNLV.
So in closing, congratulations to you on everything that you've accomplished this past year. And thank you so much for your continued dedication to this great university that has come so far in such a short period of time despite significant challenges. We have so much to look forward, so much. Continue to fulfill this moral imperative with the joy and energy that has always characterized UNLV. We are rebels, and we can make happen whatever we set our minds to, whatever we set our hearts on. Thank you. Gracias. Go Rebels. Andale, Rebels.